UIC. Freedom the people of need. Hell yeah. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Patterson here. I hope you can hear me clearly. Good morning, Divine Mind, and welcome to another edition of UIC Jamaica. UIC Jamaica, UIC Liberty TV, which is Joseph Patterson. I'll be going live on the FM in about maybe 30 minutes. So I wanted to ensure that you're part of the experience. I was talking about, I'm not sure what questions are for this, so we'll see what the questions are. If it sounds a bit muffled, hopefully I can raise my voice a bit more. Yeah, so I'm hoping that you can hear me clearly. I'll be talking with our friends on Best FM. I'm not sure who the questioners will be, who will be leading the interview, but I'll be on in a few minutes to talk with them about whatever questions they may have. Good morning, Liddy. Good morning, Conrad Cummings. Good morning, Cool Guy. Good morning, what's that now? Tondez, Stargate. Good morning to you. Good morning, Daniel Burke, Captain Burke. Good to see you on. Good morning, Douglas Harper. Good to see you on as well. Good morning, David Bonner. Good to see you on as well. Yes, so we're going to have a little talk with our friends at Best FM this morning in another couple of minutes. And I'm looking forward to sharing with them our plans for Jamaica. I'm sure they'll have questions about the organization as well, you know, how strong we are, how ready we are for an election when it is called, how many candidates we have, where are our candidates, who are our NP members. So lots of questions. I don't know what it will be, but I'm assuming it will be a number of questions from different aspects of the organization. I'm sure you've seen a lot of things on social media recently flying around. The UIC has been under a lot of challenges, internal challenges, which is to be expected. You should never be surprised, you know, that a up and coming movement like ours is going to be under severe attack from all angles. So we must be prepared for that, and we must not be deterred. Great morning to you as well, my brother. Yes, we are warriors, and we have to remain strong and to fight back with all the energy we can muster. Conrad is asking, how can I be a member? Conrad, go on our website, uicjamaica.com, and there should be a button there that says join or become a member. Click on that, and then you can go through the process. It's very easy. Let me know if you still have any challenges. Good morning, Maurice Williams. Good to see you on as well. So yes, so there are so many things happening in Jamaica. You see the strike actions. You see the price of goods and services going up. You see the government and the opposition sparring. You don't see the UIC in the media because we're blocked out of that. We're not welcome to be a part of the regular media scene. But we're doing our work on the ground. We're trying to get our candidates to actively engage in their communities where it matters, you know, working on the ground, building their teams of 12 and working to build their teams within their polling divisions, creating the community capital clubs on our JUMP program, and just getting to connect with and understand and empathize with the citizens of their communities, and to make sure that they're in a position when we're elected to effectively address all of the issues. After so many years, 78 years of the two major political parties, we continue to have the same basic issues year after year. You hear it all the time, roads, very basic issue. Why is it that it should take us this long to be able to fix our roads? Is an amazing question, something we should be very ashamed of. Conrad says, nothing going on in Negril, Westmoreland. Do you have a rep for East Rural, St. Andrew, Rydem? Life, I think it is asking. Um, we have a number of persons who are being vetted for each of these positions at the moment. It's very difficult to find candidates. So if you know anyone who wants to be a candidate, please ask them to step forward. A lot of persons are very supportive of the UIC, but they do not want to run for office or get involved. And you have to get involved, because the truth of the matter is, if you don't get involved in the political process, we can't solve anything. If all of us sit on the sidelines and wait for somebody else to solve the problem, it's not going to be solved. Good morning, Ming Hutchinson. Thank you so much for your encouragement. Really appreciate it. Yes, I will not listen to the noise. There's lots of noise. We won't let the noise bother us. We'll just keep going forward. East Rural St. Andrew, Captain Burke, our VP out there, can answer you on who's out there in East Rural St. Andrew. Again, we are looking for candidates. So please step forward. If you see the problem in your community, step forward and offer yourself as a candidate to run. The UIC is a very different political movement or party. We're not playing politics. We're not playing the game of politics. We're here to represent and protect the interest of every single citizen in our country and in your community. So we're not here playing the game of politics. I know you're used to seeing the game where it's just a game, who can put on the best show and who can win the popularity contest, and then we suffer for the next 5 years until we have another election. As you see right now, the opposition party is putting on the show right now. They're galvanizing people to go and march because there's an issue with the public sector wages right now. But I can assure you that if the People's National Party was in power today, they would be doing exactly the same thing as the Jamaica Labour Party is doing today. It might be done in a little different flair, but it would be the same thing. We would still have high inflation. We'll still have prices running wild. We'll still have low wages. We'll still not be able to afford to live in our own country. We'll still have a high crime rate. So it doesn't matter which of the two of them we elect. We know the outcome. We have to fix the problem at the source. And the source of Jamaica's problem is our system of governance, the structure of our system of governance, and the leadership that we have in place in our government. So we have bad leadership and we have a bad system of governance. And you have two political parties that are entrenched in that system. They are the founders of that system. They're the architect of that system. I shouldn't say that. To be honest, they're not really the architect. They are the water boy of that system. So they're carrying out a system that was designed for them and for us by our colonial masters. And so they're carrying it forward, yeah? And so we have to be careful that we don't get fooled again, because they're about to fool us again, So here we have it. Right now, the realities of the situations are coming out. The realities of the harshness of the situation is coming forward. We're seeing how the economy is failing. We're seeing how young people can't find work. We're suffering from the high inflationary prices because we have bought into a monetary model that is wrong, and we continue to pursue that model. We're now talking about food security when the horse gone through the gate. The time for food security talk should have been 78 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. But again, as usual, in opposition, they're going to tell us that they know everything. Just like how Andrew told you in opposition that he knew how to fix the crime problem. And then here we are today. He told you he knew how to grow the economy 7 years ago. And here we are today. He told us how he's going to fix youth unemployment 7 years ago. And here we are today. So we know we can't trust them. Yeah, I know we can't trust them. Maurice Williams is saying, I am begging you, sir, please stay focused. I'm depending on this party to change Jamaica sooner than later. Thank you, Maurice. You can be assured that I'm going to stay very focused, very, very focused. In fact, I'm not spending much time with the naysayers. Yeah. Uh, you're so right, Mr. Gordon. I see Mr. Kenrick Gordon is on. Mr. Gordon is our VP out there in the Cornwall County. Welcome. Yes. So let's be very clear that the two parties are the same. And when I say this, I want you to understand with great clarity, right? And this is not just, we're not into the political theater. We're not into the political theater. This is the real facts, right? Real fact. The two parties are the same. They're working for the same master. And that master is called the PSOJ oligarchy. Whenever you think about elections in Jamaica, there are only two contestants in that election. The PSOJ oligarchy versus the people of Jamaica. Those are the two contestants in the election. And based on how the electoral system is designed, the PSOJ oligarchy is destined to win unless the people of Jamaica decide that they're going to get aggressive and stand up and take back them power. We have to decide that we want to take back our country. The UIC is the People's Party. We are the movement of the people. We're not funded by the PSOJ. We're funded by you. And that is why they want to kill me. That is why they want to make sure that they decapitate me, that they destroy my character and credibility with character assassination from all directions. You have people making all kinds of statements. But here we go. I think I'm going to get my call soon. I heard a little buzz. No, that's not it yet. So their plan, my friends, is to make sure that they destroy me so that they can destroy the UIC and get the people to have nothing. So when the people come to the polls, all they want the people to see, choose JLP or PNP, knowing that no matter which one of the two you choose, you're still choosing the PSOJ oligarchy. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything against the private sector. The private sector is you and me. The private sector means anybody who is not within the government employ. So the private sector are all of us who do the work that pays the government, and then the government use our money and pay the public sector workers. So the private sector is you and me. And the public sector workers, when they leave the job in the evening to go home, they're private sector again. Because they have to figure out how to pay the light bill, how to pay the water, how much to allocate to food, how much to allocate to education. And so every single Jamaican, every single day, are faced with private sector decisions. Private mean the decisions I make for me and my family. That's the private sector. So when you hear me talk about the PSOJ oligarchy, I'm not talking about the private sector. I'm talking about a cartel, a subsector of the private sector. A few men and women who make up a small group who, with the power of their financial capital, buy and control the political process. They buy the two major political parties, and then they control those two parties. And those two parties now act in the best interest of the private sector organization of Jamaica in terms of the small number of elites who run that operation. So every decision which is made by the government first has to get the approval of the PSOJ elites. If they do not agree with the direction of the government, then the government has to change it. Because if the government doesn't change it, they will not get the funding to be able to come back and trick you in 5 years, or at least try to trick you. My call is coming in. Let's see what we have here. 1 second. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Patterson.
Yes, speaking.
Okay, calling from Patterson. Just checking to make sure that they're up and ready.
Yeah,
I'll
brother.
call them in about 5 minutes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Looking forward.
Okay, great.
Take care. All right. I hope you were able to hear the voice over the phone, clearly, because that's the voice you're going to hear shortly, or at least you're going to hear from the phone, the call I'm going to get. Then we're going to talk about it. So yeah. So I want to make sure that you fully understand what we're up against here. Yeah. I want you to be sure, I want you to be clear what we're up against here. We are up against magnificent forces that Joseph Patterson by himself cannot stop. And all those who want to hijack and take away the party, they're simply a part of those forces who want to stop the UIC from succeeding. They're tricksters, they're deceivers, and they want to make sure that the Jamaican people does not have a real option in the next election. They want to ensure that we're right back to square one with JLP and PNP. And yes, they will approve, not might, they will approve a few other political parties just so that the people will be confused. They will ensure that come the next election, you will have some other fanatical party out there. You'll have some 1 or 2 or 3 more, because now that the UIC broke the barrier and created a third party, because remember, in 2018, they brought in laws, and those laws eliminated all third parties because they make new regulations, new barriers to entry to prevent third parties. Of course, they didn't say it that way. They say it is to improve democracy. It is to make everything better for you. But we know better. We know that practically all the regulations you see them bring in, no matter how nice it sounds, whether they tell you about nice digital currency or nice NIDS cards or nice anything, all of it is designed against your interest, but they pretty it up to fool you. And so they have been successfully fooling us for 78 years. And the question is, will we allow them to fool us for another 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or another 78 years? If they kill the UIC, they are killing the hopes and dreams of the Jamaican people. And they know that. They want you to depend on them so that they can continue to deceive and extract your wealth from you. Look what they're doing now. You now hear them talking about organic farming. They stole that from the UIC. We told them that this is the way to bring food security to Jamaica. They steal that, they're now running with it. It doesn't mean, though, that they're actually going to do anything with it. They're going to just take the talking points. They're going to take the words, and they're going to filter the words out into the society so that it becomes numbing. The mind becomes deadened to the thought and idea. You no longer care anymore about organic farming. After they finish with it, and they emasculate it and destroy it, so that you no longer see any value in the phrase organic farming or permaculture farming. After they take all of that away, the meaning of it, make it devoid of meaning, then you will just move on. And they would have won another 5 years of your life, another 5 years of our taxes, another 5 years to destroy our students with misleading education, another 5 years to destroy our people with inappropriate and ill-advised health policies, another 5 years of leaving you with bad roads, lack of water, lack of electricity, and having all kinds of gimmicks. They'll go somewhere and cut a ribbon. We're giving somebody a house. They'll go somewhere and put up a sign. We're putting free Wi-Fi here. It's all a trick. And the funny thing is, the trick keeps working. It keeps working over and over again. And my question to you is, Are you ready to stop the trick? Yeah. Are you ready to stop the trick? Are you ready to stop the trick? The minimum wage trick, the economic growth trick, the inflation trick, because these are all tricks. Minimum wage is a trick. Inflation, when they tell you that you're going to have targeted inflation rate, it's a trick. They're literally telling you how much of your money they're going to steal every year, and they even tell you a lower number than the truth. So, my friends, it's very important that we really take this very seriously and don't be fooled. I will be very transparent with you. Tomorrow, God willing, I will be on with the finance committee of the UIC. You'll have such persons as Gary and Owen Alcho, the two Alcho brothers. One is a CPA, one is an MBA. Well, both of them are MBAs, but one is a CPA, and you'll have other members. Anyways, my call is coming in, so listen in. Hello, good morning. Joseph Patterson here. Yes, thank you. No problem, no problem.
Is your phone on speaker or are you using an earpiece?
Can you? My phone is on speaker. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but when it's on speaker,
I'll find out that for you, brother. Oh, yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning. Yes, good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty fine, and you?
Very well, thank you.
Excellent. The Lions Den. No, I'm used to it now. I'm used to being with the Lions Den. So let's see if I can come out. Let's see if I can come out like Daniel. I'm in the mood. I'm very much in the mood. I've been getting up and standing up in fact, I haven't sat down for a while now. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of things happening. We have been previously interviewing and vetting new and more candidates. So far, we have gone to almost 200 persons for candidacy. We have also gone to an internal, what's it called, an attempted and the presidency. We are currently going through another episode of a taxable organization from persons who previously supported us. We have been previously trying to raise funds. We have launched our JUMP program, which is the Jamaica Upliftment Monetary Program, which is a community-based grassroots financing and financial education program. We are helping people to learn more about, economic finance, the political system, how to be good citizens, understanding the governance model, optimally and rapidly these proposals. We have been very, very busy. So right now we are in process of launching our next roadshow. We have done one before where we did the 14 parishes. In fact, we only did 13 parishes because we stopped short of St. Thomas because we literally broke down. Our bus broke down on the way, and we also had a few people who had gotten sick and so on. So we stopped in Portland, and then
When was that last roadshow?
that would have been in December.
Okay. So during pandemic, on the pandemic.
Absolutely, during the pandemic time, yes.
Okay.
So, yes, more people became aware of us because of the march we did in Houston on September 25th and the other day. Yes.
So what is the big one? Are you preparing yourself for the context of the next general elections or the state or the local elections? What is the immediate plan?
So we need to plan to contest both elections, whatever they're called, whatever the prime minister. Our first kind of action is to make sure that we educate the nation and empower the nation to realize that that's the only the political party that only the political process and start allowing a few persons that I call the future of the oligarchy from controlling the political process and controlling the political party to all the people.
Many of our callers, and I know this is a guidance from IT, that and are already at a stage where they are dissatisfied with the political party. So, feel that the political all these parties that everybody is okay. The political like all
Well, yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, it is a reasonable question and answer. I mean, what we have to use capital is, and the battle is the battle of communication. And not just having the right words to say, but actually having the strategy to say it and having access to the people. We are like online in the social media space because we're not necessarily given much access to the regular media. What would have been nice for the Jamaican people to have is if every time there's a major issue in the country, and the news media would want to hear what is the UIC position on the issue, as well as that of the other two parties. Unfortunately, they only go to the other two, and they do a very good job of selling it. So we have a hard time getting that message out. Yeah. Mhm. No, I mean, strategy, we can have all the strategy in the world, both of these strategies are experts, as you know. So you really have to keep trying. I mean, I have tried a number of meetings to go back in history. No third party survived in Jamaica because of many of the challenges in that. They're much better off today because they have social media. Without social media, many persons who now know about the right will not know about it. But it is still not enough because in many Jamaicans who are not on social media, they are still relying on regular TV and radio. Um, it's a major task, and let us ask you like that. What? Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So we're looking to speak to organisms who are able to do. Or who, are dissatisfied with what is going on in Jamaica. So basically, as you know, there's a pool of defense who did not vote in the last election. And then there who are still a part of the two different parties who are dissatisfied with their party. So we're here for organisms. We have the young people, there are lots of young people who are, just disconnected completely, so we're trying to reach them as well. But our target audience are organisms, and we do that through different levels. If you understand the political landscape very well, the middle class, for the most part, doesn't exist. It's the lower class in Jamaica people, right? The middle class normally absorb the political process, for them it's an entertainment thing, except when they really don't. Then they will get excited if they might have a significant turnout in the election, because people are going to have this time around. I think in the next election, we're going to have the movement of all stripes and staff that participate in the process because they're all being burned. They're all being burned by the high cost of living, the erosion of their purchasing power, and obviously the government's inability to manage crime and give us any hope that having trusted them with 7 years of their lives, they're able to do really better than what they've seen prior to them. So I think we're going to have a big turnout in the next election, and it's a chance for any party to come along and make a difference. The big problem there is that while you're trying to indicate to me that I need to have a better communication strategy, that is still the big problem. So I look forward to any help we can get from anyone.
I know Pastor right, and it requires the power of the middle class to put your money into putting the word out. Someone can just say that they do a good thing, complex, it's hard to work, everything was good to get the word out at the time when you was on social media. There is a great value in the middle class as the social. But really about this thing, and I don't think that that has led to the conversation of social scientists to recognize that even if the middle class don't vote or if they don't count in large numbers, they will finance, they will get the word out and so on. What we don't think about educating as practices that can unlock the wealth and the knowledge that is in the educated class so that it can become part of your, I guess, your success story.
No, excellent point. Very good point. I think it's very important for us to look well, we have to reach it out. We have resources. In fact, it's the middle class who's funding the UIC right now. It's based on the way of the different. It's the middle class. It's the middle class in the US and Canada and England and here in Jamaica who are donating to the movement right now. It is not yet at the level that it needs to be as effective as we want it to be. But it's definitely those persons who are making a difference right now in helping to fund the US. Well, the vision, the UIC vision is to create a village that brings us the best in all our people. That's a very vision in general. Our mission is to create a non-partisan constitutional republic. One is going to ensure that Jamaicans have a free, clean, and orderly country that allows the average citizen to live, earn, and retire with dignity. And for that to happen, you need a robust, free, and fair market economy with a system of government that is such that we are not suffering from excessive corruption, we're not suffering from a force that is incapable of providing the kind of community policing we need to have a safe environment. And we're not suffering from a significant brain drain because we're losing the quality people that we produce. So this is the way the UIC is going to fix Jamaica, by focusing on good governance that will eliminate corruption, improve the quality of our police, or teaching, or school system, or healthcare system, and most importantly, ensuring that the average Jamaican has access to enjoy a quality of life in their own country. Well, I mean, everything is should be aware that the biggest problem that we've had in the last 2 years is the government response to the pandemic. How it responded has resulted in a number of negative consequences. The impact on our students in terms of the learning losses, the impact on our small and medium microsector of the economy because of the kind of measures that the government produced. The monetary quality of the government is a really sector increase, really well global inflation, but policies by government affect the extent of that impact on the local economy. The government's decision to get rid of the Bank of Jamaica and give it into the private hands of a banking cartel under the guise of independence, and give away $20.6 billion of Jamaicans' money. These are all key issues that affects Jamaicans directly and indirectly without them understanding, in many cases, what's really being done to them. Yes. So this is their idea of creating what they call an independent central bank. The colonial masters have been able to design it into a monetary system that requires to give us control of our central bank to some private banking cartels. Of course, it's all kinds of stuff to tell us that these are independent, non-political persons and all kinds of stuff. But the bottom line is, we have given up control of our monetary policy, and they've given that over along with $20.6 billion to those who now control the central bank of our country. Okay. So one of the key problems that was evident for years ago is that we have not addressed the issue of protecting the nation by having a energy security policy. Because we don't have an energy security policy that makes sense, we end up finding ourselves in a monopoly. A monopoly situation that has blocked the development of alternative energy across the nation, which would have given us the kind of resilience that we need now in the case of a spike in the cost of oil, which of course drives the production of electricity here in Jamaica and by extension affecting the whole area of the cost, including the cost of gasoline and transportation. So there's no quick fix today except for a few things we could do. One is to immediately remove the excessive tax on gasoline that was, introduced some time ago as a temporary measure, but has become permanent. And by reducing the GCT from 15 to 10% to absorb some of the shock that we're feeling in prices. Doing that, you would create a situation where at least the government would not be excessively benefiting from the higher intake on GCT due to the fact that prices have shot up, while telling us that it's a no tax increase budget that they've just given us. So here are some immediate steps we can take on that, but we must move to eliminating the monopoly status of the JPS and aggressively move to empower Jamaicans to become energy independent as much as possible within the framework of the technology, and not having government creating artificial barriers or impediments to us aggressively embracing new technology and creating ways of harnessing the sun, the wind, bio energy, and geothermal energy.
That does sound that sounds like a policy that people could understand and buy into. So I want to touch on another issue now. I think issues with
Thank you very much. The UIC has a very clear policy of divesting all of Crown land in order to make every single Jamaican through the family of course property owners. Our approach to the problem of land reform is to look at two things. Number one is to ensure that we get rid of the ghettos, the garrisons, and the squatter communities, and transform those spaces, rare spaces, into cemeteries like high-rise condominiums that are open to all Jamaicans here and there, where we have a kind of a financial arrangement that makes it affordable over multiple generations if necessary to get into these spaces and to make sure that they're properly managed and run so that they can get the management again. That's one side. The other side of the equation is to ensure that we do not use our good lands for housing, but we keep those lands and in fact put those lands under organic farming production to make Jamaica the organic food capital of the world. This is significant. I would like for us to embrace the Netherlands model, where a small country like the Netherlands has been able to become the second largest exporter of food to the world. We in Jamaica can become one of that elite nation that focuses on a area of advantage that we have in becoming the organic food capital of Jamaica. So turn those lands into massive organic food producers and make the Jamaican people shareholders in those lands. So instead of them owning the land directly and not developing them, they own the land indirectly and get proceeds from the profits that come from having very effective and large producer of organic food that we ship to the rest of the world and make Jamaica that key part of the global economic system when it comes on to food production and distribution.
Okay, we're going to the break. Can you hold, please?
Sure.
When we return from the break, I'm going to move you to look at how we deal with science and technology and education and training, because you've just mentioned some
Okay, so about that, I'm learning that you can really properly online. I'm not sure why is that, but I must tell you that it's not because of me. I do many calls a day I work with many other countries and nations, and I find whenever I'm doing life, whenever I'm doing the life, or I have to have a major life meeting, they have these problems. I don't know why, I don't know what else to do. It's a fear. So therefore, it's really missing me. It's really missing me over here. Today. Thank you. I think it's finished. We're going to go to it. Yeah, so about that, defense. So that is the problem. I think that there is some attempts. I don't know, but I really feel that there's some form of attempt to to interrupt my communications with you. But I'm really trying. 1 second. So I'm on a break from the discussion right now, but I hope you can hear me clearly. But don't disregard the attempts of those in power to do anything possible to stop us. Yeah.
We are sitting with
A wonderful question. I think it's time for us to recognize that our education model is absolutely outdated. Because we're outdated for many years, probably 20 or 30 years. We need to move to a very different model. The UIC has what we call the Learning Enrichment Advanced Program, which shifts the education model from being strictly academic to being more social focused. So we're talking about ensuring that the students understand, herself, understand their body, their mind, the social consequences of being a Christian, and how to engage, how to build relationships with other human beings, understanding human behavior, understanding conflict resolution, understanding how to build marital relationships, business relationships, social relationships. And finally, how money works, understanding the economics of money, the science of money, the history of money, so they can realize what life is all about, why it's important for them to become very, very productive and not to become very, very dependent in their mindset. Shift away from the idea of simply being an employee to what it really means to be a producer, to be somebody who owns their own future and really see themselves and their brains as an asset to be fully developed and fully utilized. So I want to change your, yes.
So we are releasing the youth into the 21st century.
Absolutely. And we're going to release them into using technology now, and not just using, but creating technology, as opposed to simply being a consumer of technology. Get involved, and they're not going to do this on their own. They need guidance, and that is why you need to have a school system which is far more open and fluid, that allows the school and the educators to move with the society as opposed to being held back by politicians and government. So you need to have an open market school system. Yes, sorry. Yes. I think it's Orlando Patrick is a brilliant man, a great man with great life and agency. But most importantly is that we have to understand that the biggest impediment to education in Jamaica is actually politics and government. We have to open the market of education so that the brilliant minds in the field of education, like Orlando Patrick, can actually get into the market and influence the market so that people can be an access to the a bureaucracy of their own principle, of their own story. But at the very earliest stages of their service development, they're being taught by people who have master's degrees in the space in which they're trying to operate. We cannot have people teaching our CEOs and players and librarians who don't understand the basics of child development and learning. They must happen quickly at that stage. Yes.
I want to bring the ugly issue of affordability
Yes.
into the discussion.
Yes.
Because many persons will say that's all good and well,
Yes.
but how are we going to afford it? Yeah. And then how are
No problem. I don't have to move. Can I? Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to change it drastically in 5 years. And this is the way we're going to do it. We are going to understand, and we already do, understand that government is the sector. We're going to more and more treat government out of the way and make government an enabler rather than a dictator of our education system. So the way we want to do it is allow the consumer to decide what you want based on the offerings that are coming from the marketplace. And the government's role is to make sure that nobody is left behind. So those who are in need of financial assistance, we're making sure they get it, as opposed to tapping everybody and forcing them through the same funnel. We're going to open the street and then protect the vulnerable and supply the vulnerable with what they need to fully access the best in education. We're going to be the same thing to healthcare because we're simply fooling ourselves talking about free education and free healthcare while we're simply producing low quality education and low quality healthcare. So the money is there. The money is in the economy. It's just flowing in the wrong directions because we're impeding it as a government, and we're impeding it because we have not opened the minds and understanding of our people to what an economy really is and how to make it work.
are you in a
Absolutely, we've done that. All tax policies have to be very dramatic and very different. We're moving to a tax policy that is going to ensure that far more money flows to what you might call, and I hate to use the word because it's misunderstood by some, you're going to flow to or through the private sector. So instead of it coming to government first, so then you redistribute it, it's going to go between the customers, the customer and the seller, the buyer and the seller, the citizens, the private citizens, right? We're going to create the environment for more private citizens to make cheaper decisions with their own money, as opposed to having a middleman for government first take the money from them, really service, keep service, and give that service to them. We're going to find that a lot more money is going to be available in the economy for the right things because we won't have these good people keeping or misappropriating.
to give us a little
Sure, sure, absolutely. So take, for example, our education system. Right now we spend a lot of money on a very top-heavy bureaucratic system. So we take all of this money and impact it. We force people to pay by their withdrawal from their business. We take all this money in, we then monitor around, choose all kind of boards and commissions and all kind of stuff. And then afterwards, we try to use this is what the students in the classroom. What is the money instead when they from the parents to the enterprise which is managing the deliver education? Government is a state as a regulator, not as a provider. So you're regulating it. For the people in it. And by the people I mean we the citizens, different respective communities. We have small people like yourself. There are many communities we have great solutions, but they cannot do it because government is stopping them. They have to go through too many bureaucracy. So we want the people, we the creative Jamaicans.
I
Sorry.
want to be sure I'm following
Yes.
you, Mr. Patterson.
Yes.
So
Yes. it is easier and physical, more time to get that. The essence of it is that the government is going to be moved to regulator, not an integral involved or person involved in the delivery or controlling the capability. We're not going to leave that power. The power now is a regulate for what incident, regulate for the quality, making sure the quality is what is promised to the parents, and that the safety and the health wise and capability is okay. And then now, the parents now who get the money themselves, if it's a poor parent, they're getting the funds of those on their behalf to the school of yourself, because the person who yesterday wanted to make it just be that is athletic living, they will now be in a position to do that. And those who want to offer such a school will now have a marketplace that allows them to do that, as opposed to the heavy bureaucracy of a government that thinks it should dictate to us what should be everything that we're going to learn and so on. So that the whole model changes.
All right, so I have to ask.
Yes, 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 yes. The new power base, the new power base is the people. Mm, right. So again, as I said before, listen carefully. The government will now fully be responsible for the regulation, right? As opposed to being what it is now, it is very integrally involved in everything. And as such, it is regulating itself. And because it's regulating itself, it gets away with many of these. But if you make the regulator through the regulator and make the market through the market, then the people now become the power base. So we're shifting the power from the politicians to the people. Their choice and their decision. Wherever possible, yes. Wherever possible. Mhm. Sure, that is the policy actually. The market is not doing that. Government is doing that. It is government over. It is government who is now keeping us that the market is doing to us something wrong. And it's the government taking policies and regulation and laws at the behest of a small group of oligarchs that then tell us that anything we receive because of the market and the way they solve it is to give us more power over the people so that we can fix it. And the more power we give them is the more disparity we see in income.
All right, I want to shift gears on.
let me just be clear. We're not saying that all if a service is a public service, a purely public service, meaning it's an area of service that can only be provided by government. For example, public roads. You cannot privatize public roads because public roads are used by everybody. When you privatize it, what you have done at the area, what you have done is eliminate it from people. That's it. So what we are advocating is to ensure that the government occupies the space that government should occupy and that it regulates the space that it should not occupy. So it's regulating those spaces to make sure that nobody gets away with using force or fraud to get away in the process. So in the question model, let's say currently public sector workers, what is the problem? The problem is that their compensation has not been indexed to what is happening in the private sector. So they're left with a situation where their employer has the power over them because the employer has no competitor. You understand? The only competitor to the employer is the next election. And then if the two major parties that you're going to elect are controlled by the same owner, which is the PSOJ oligarchs, then you're doomed. What the UIC would do differently is make sure that the public sector workers are treated in the same way that private sector workers are, and that their compensations are indexed to what is happening in the market, the full country context. So you won't have any significant disparity between them and everybody else. So as much as the market grows, as much as the economy grows, as much as the citizens are growing economically, those in the public sector will similarly grow.
So what I'm hearing you proposing is
If you're not need a rapid increase to do an answer, that's not true. What we should say is the public sector enterprises are going to have a rapid increase. Uh, no, the government, first of all, you have to go through a restructure of the society, which is the system of government. Right? So the more idea of apathy that I mean system of government, wonderful ensure that the system balance in the middle of the corruption of the government. Absolutely responsible. Oh, of course. I fully understand. And not just that. Every time I go on the street and I really people understand it. And yet the people who have the hardest time understanding it are the intellectuals. Yes, when I go, every community I go to, whether it's in Jerusalem, in Elizabeth, in Black River, or in Newton Town, and wherever I go, Canada, provinces, wherever I go and talk to the common man and women in the street, they get it. They realize that the biggest problem in Jamaica is bad government. They realize that we need a new system. They're ready for a new constitution. They're ready for new leadership. They're ready for an economy that puts the forward back in their life. So, absolutely, but nothing that is sensible. We don't use the word like constitutional reform because that's a big word. Let them talk over we need to change no Mr. Capacity. Let them talk over their word. That's what it is. This is the reason, hold on, this is the reason why they're free to make sure I'm on public television and all of this is regular. The moment the Canadian people see what I'm talking about, yes, the intellectuals might be afraid of it. Yes, maybe a nice position might be afraid of it. But the people of Jamaica, the hard-working people who understand that stuff around and that the system must change, they're ready for it. No, 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 hold on. Let's just clear it. Let's just clear it again. Let's just clear it again. The people of Jamaica have been fed a lie that their choice is guilty and guilty, and they're in a system which suffocates and denies them access to other alternatives. The UIC is fighting that system to give Jamaicans this alternative.
So I want to turn our attention to matters of a more personal nature because
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Well, the issue is that more and more Jamaicans being given into the hands of the older or whatever form of people, or to privately, the regular funds to do that, to the people to do it from it, or we can let it alone. If we have properly maintained and managed public uses, that the government of Jamaica is really responsible to make sure we have public parks, public access to beaches, and not just access, but well maintained, clean, with washroom facilities, with proper grooming to make sure that it is pleasant to the citizens of Jamaica. We don't have that. 78 years that respects the people of Jamaica. They respect tourists. They respect foreign buyers who come and buy up pieces of our country, but they have no respect for us, the citizen. And because they don't have respect for us, the citizen, we even have a culture in Jamaica now that has developed where we ourselves don't have respect even for our own environment. So we need leadership, and we need a government that is going to respect the people and teach the people to respect themselves. That's what Lee Kuan Yew did in Singapore. That's why when you go to Singapore, all of it clean. Clean. Yes.
now how would you address the issue with our beaches and the access to it, the management of it?
If I am prime minister and had the opportunity to transform, okay, got you. When I am prime minister and have access to the means to make the changes, our beaches will become public unless they are truly a private space, meaning truly privately owned. And why? We're going to make sure we have proper public beaches that are just as clean and pretty as in the resorts for the Jamaican people to go to free of charge to enjoy as Jamaican citizens.
So
Absolutely, I'm saying that we must have access to the media. And by the way, access to the media, you're free now to go and do anything that is untoward. So you're also going to have discipline for that media. No problem. Sure. So I grew up in Jamaica until the age of 22 years. So while here, I was head boy at Patterson secondary, head boy at high school, and I got a first scholarship to study engineering at the University of Technology. Having completed my studies there, I became a teacher at Patterson secretary. I taught math, physics, and engineering science, and after that became assistant manager for the company in the instrumentation department in manufacturing science. That now to my high school sweetheart, was in for 28 years. While in Canada, I studied and became a CPA, earned a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting science from Harvard University. Years of today, I spent the agency of them that is working in a restaurant to becoming accounting first year, to becoming junior surgeon, and then becoming senior surgeon another company, then becoming accounting manager at Rogers Group, a major telecommunications company in Toronto, and then becoming controller for another company, Mosaic Group, and then moving on to becoming vice president of finance for the school board in Toronto for the Adventist school system. After which I became a director of finance and financial controls and management for the government of Canada, operating in the territory of Nunavut, where I was responsible for a $2 billion budget. After that, I bought a few companies in Canada in a number of spaces, appliance repair, construction, and so on, and sold a few of them. And then in 2011, I returned to Jamaica at the age of 40, decided to buy property here and set up my home and live in a community where I'm close to the people and not on a hill away from the people. I ran for office as an independent candidate in 2016 so I could better understand the system, felt the people, understand their plights, and over the course of that period, studied what's going on and created the OIC.
All right.
My top three priorities are like this. Number one, we must get an absolutely new constitution that is absolute, isolated, and fair people. A new constitution that is truly up represented. Number two, we must have an education system that brings out the best of our people, having the vast majority succeeding rather than failing. And number three, we must have a truly free and fair market economy that allows every Jamaican to achieve their maximum potential. You're very welcome. Sure. So, first and foremost, I see Jamaica being absolutely out of the common way. We need to completely disappear the resource of anything colonial. We must forge an alliance, a new alliance with the people of the Caribbean to form a Caribbean Union, and then separate alliance across the ocean to bond hands with our African brothers to create an entirely well-developed African diaspora where we all connect and work together economically and socially to build a bond that is indestructible, which gives us economic power in the world. We must maintain good relations with all countries around the world. We must not take sides with any of the squabbles, but rather focus on building a strong bond, creating the Federation of the Caribbean that will stay described by Norman Manley, make a real federation with one seat, one federation with a number of seats, our own focus of year, our own joint military development so we can defend ourselves. We must invest in creating a very new paradigm for the people, the Black people of the world. And Jamaica must lead that paradigm shift by ensuring that we can have good governance at home, where our partners can then emulate our good governance and want to be a partner with us in a more integrated fashion and extend that to Africa. And then, show the rest of the world what good governance is, that you can actually have a country which is properly governed to meet the needs of all the citizens as opposed to one that enriches a few at the expense of the many.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem. even if you still can hear it online, I'm not sure why you're not hearing. I'm doing my best to, I haven't used anything on my setting. So I'm doing my best to point the figure out to do the video that's coming across and keeping it louder as I can. Can you hear now? It's Bess FM, the morning connection I do this call. So you can tune in to the radio program directly if this is your person. But let me know if you can hear me clearly now. Can you hear me clearly? While I'm waiting to the, oh, wonderful. Since the waiting, there's 100%. Excellent. Thank you so much for your patience, okay? Really appreciate that. Um,
Yeah. So thank you so much for your patience. Really appreciate that. Uh, I know some of my ideas are strange, they're new because they're very modern, and they really are designed to address the real problems facing us, and not the fake, politicking where you just say what people want to hear so that they can vote for you. We need to make sure that we truly address the problem. A UIC government will make sure that we no longer have public adjusted automatically by indexing it in the private sector. So we're getting there.
Welcome back to the morning connection.
what keeps me strong and focused? I think it's my resolve to stay the nature that my mother wanted to see. You might have known before that my mother was a strong PhD activist back in the day, that really believed in the message of Michael Manley and socialism. I believe not her expectations were misplaced, but I understood what she wanted, and she wanted everything she wanted. If she wanted a country that could provide her equal opportunity, equal rights, and equal justice. That's what I'm determined to believe, not only for her, but for everybody else. Yeah. So thank you, Tyler. I feel the same. I appreciate everything you say. And the fix for that problem, first and foremost, is a government that is committed to the people and not just to the interests of the few. And so what we have to do, land your side, we're going to do more than give your people land. We're going to give you a home. We're going to make sure the people land. It's the best thing. So, no problem. Yeah, no problem, no problem. So definitely, I'm grounded in my personal faith and commitment to the principles of honesty, integrity, and hard work. I believe in the spirit of everyone to produce to their maximum potential and make the world to enjoy that. So I'm the kind of person that really believes in protecting the ultimate of the and that drives me every day. So, yeah. No, thank you, okay. I mean, I really, the way I see the organization, the organization, what I think we try to do is to make sure we engage people of all faiths, for example. So we don't want to So in a school that discriminating against a person, we have Rastafarians, we have Muslims, we have Christians, we have everybody. And the message I keep our members, and sometimes it's a hard message because some of people in the business. I teach them to not respect and embrace everybody for whatever their differences are, as long as they do not use those cultural to their people against it. I love it. I love that question. The UIC has a water harvesting policy where they go not only teach the nations but introduce the infrastructure to have proper water harvesting around the country and to have this range to the network that allow those who capture excess water to sell their water back into the system. The same thing for energy. We're going to have an energy policy that allows Jamaican to easily capture energy and sell that back to the system. It's very important that we have an open market system that allows the safest one to market to find ingenious ways to use water and energy, to capture water and energy, and share that with the rest of the nation. Absolutely. So the government will own the grid, and you will be able to sell your energy over the grid and recover your investment as a result. Yeah, whatever it is. And remember, this, that's it. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Good morning. Good morning. Sure. So we're going to change the constitution so we have proper system knowledge. One example is electoral. One example is not having politicians who I ministers of separation of the state. In terms of corruption, we're going to have a very solid corruption policy similar to Singapore because there's not ability to daylight of fear into anyone who seeks to participate in corruption. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a standard problem. Yeah, 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 exactly. I think it's probably have all the answers to that, which is, one example of the way we're going to deal with reducing the prison population is by having what we call workforce. So the workforce program that actually gets a lot of persons who are currently not working, they're hybrid and available to our private sector to be in a workforce of helping. Another project is yes program, the youth employment solution, which we have, which is to make sure all the graduates. I'm here. Can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you. When I look at the forest reality, I see a country that currently today that is in the wrong direction. And if we don't quickly arrest it, the forest is going to burn. Thank you. Thank you. It's just a bit. No problem. So, no problem. I am a lover of liberty. I'm a lover of freedom. I strongly believe in that you bring out the best in people when you liberate them. You want a system of governance that protects your rights, that allows you to be your full self. Not one where some amount of people, a small number of people think that they have the right to limit who you can be because they are smarter than you. They miss so many opportunities. I can I can say a resounding no. You yourself, Mr. Chairman, is here. We have three vice presidents elected by the members. We have a president. We have a general secretary elected by the members. We have in total some 13 directors of the movement. And we have a vibrant movement that's building each and every day with candidates across the country, and we're recruiting every day as we speak. This is not a one-man show. It's a one-man who started the process, and now many men and women who are carrying the process along.
Yes, morning, Pastor. Morning, Miss Minute.
Many. A very good question. The world is changing dramatically. You have to look at employment very differently. The model of employment is changing. What you actually want to do is to make sure that you have a system that protects every individual from being abused by any other individual. Because that's really right. So we have to change the mindset. You have to become entrepreneurs and thinking. Even if you're an employee, you have to realize that you're paid for value, you're not paid for time. And so we have to help our people cross that bridge. I know the question, I understand where it's going, but I want us to know that we have to change our thinking.
Generally,
Generally, yes, protecting the rights of everyone so that they can choose freely what they want to do, who they want to work for, and that they're also empowered educationally to invest in their healthcare, their pension schemes, and so on. We have to shift the thinking from dependency to taking charge of your finances and having a system that allows you maximum access to your economy.
you know,
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And so what we need now is an infrastructure that allows easy savings in the market to insurance, unemployment insurance, health insurance, as opposed to the market being restricted on the one hand and the employment benefits being taken away on the other. We need to open the market to give them the flexibility and more access to opportunities. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No problem, no problem. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In short, more typically, we have the right to self-defense, and we're thinking of the right to home, carry, the right to firearms, and it should not be a case where it's very difficult for you to get a right to firearm if you're a decent law-abiding citizen. I believe that we need to improve our police service, like citizen first service. We need to improve the way we protect and secure our citizens. That is nothing like we do in the citizen yourself. Criminals should not find it easier to have a gun and the citizen first service. Yeah, I'm hearing, I'm hearing that the sound quality is poor. Please forgive me. I don't know why, and it doesn't make sense to me that one call having very good connection and the call is clear, and on another call like this, whatever I do, this could have a problem. So I cannot begin to understand where to go to solve it because if I have a phone problem, it could happen all the time, but not only when I'm doing a UIC presentation that I have a phone problem. So forgive me, I don't know what else to do. Yeah, so I don't know what to do there, friends. So sorry for
Sorry for the sound problem. I have tried different mics, but it only happens when I'm doing these. But I hope you are able to follow the conversation so far. Um, I'm
We have
here.
some final things to handle, and then we want a few minutes with our callers.
the well, I'm not sure what the feedback is. Is it still there? Okay, all right, wonderful. So, leadership is different from because education policy is very clear. Every child must get education, education has to be And our school model is one that gives parents the power to see what they can do, and it is a message that a great truth in the sector, allowing us to different structure. Working your access as a model of the education that makes it all done in the medical separation. So we have a state system that does not lead to the reason to feel about the human impact. They're going to have the human factor. When it's similar to Singapore, with real investors, those people, we are going to invest in our people to set up our model does not make government involved. It makes government a free facility there. So that the right people in the market can be there.
Yes.
Someone said fully hold on the business of those emerging technologies.
Yes. Well, I don't see everything going on in the I really feel. I see that as an opportunity that comes with it. Oh, wow. Can you hear me now? I see it as an opportunity that comes with risk, and it's about managing your risk. We can't put our heads in the sand. What we need to do is to empower our people with a skill advantage practice. And we're way behind, you know. So the UI people in the place practice. We're going to help our people to quickly practice. Just so that we become solid engineers in the field, getting people to adjust their work ethics and productivity levels to match what's happening. And also leverage our competitive advantages. You know, we have a great advantage in the area of tourism that we are not properly explored because we are limited instead of having full community tourism. We have great opportunities in agriculture, both in the technology and otherwise to become the organic capital of the world. Yeah, we have to opportunities. We have to be clear. Let us embrace while fully protecting the rights of the individual. So, you know, here's the best thing. Recycling is because it's must recycle, sell what we need to sell, use what we need to use, and make sure to make it a model for recycling. So, no second, so, yeah, yeah, definitely. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, people. All the best. Bye-bye. All right. Let me do a test here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? My friend, I'm off the call now. Can you hear me? I'm going to see if I can figure out this, this sound system here. Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. Anyone? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Anybody? Please let me know. I need to get this thing fixed. I don't know how. But as I told you before, the problem I'm having is it only goes bad during my UIC calls. It doesn't go bad when I'm doing, you know, anything else. So I can't fix a problem that only goes
bad when I'm doing one show, and it's on the same platform. I've used the same. Maybe it's the platform. Maybe it's the platform we're using. Can you hear me now? Please let me know. Let me try this. Let me try this. I'm going to try something here. Let me try this. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, is this? Can you hear me? Uh, Let me know. Can you hear me now through this? Is this any better? Let me know if you can hear me with this. Just checking. Mic check. Mic check. So now, Douglas, you're hearing very clearly. Now that I have switched over to my headset, you can hear me clearly. My goodness, this is not good. This is not good at all. So we're going to work on it, but I hope you were able to hear most of the conversation. It was a good interview because I had the chance to speak more clearly with the interviewer. There are some moments where it was short, but can you imagine if we kind of get this exposure across more of the radio stations and across the television stations, so we can connect with Jamaicans faster and quicker. But the powers that be will not allow this. So hats off to Bess FM. Big congratulations to you for being a good journalist and allowing more Jamaicans to hear from the UIC. We have a lot of things we can do to transform Jamaica, but it's only going to be done if the political party is owned by the people of Jamaica. We cannot continue to have two parties that are owned by the PSOJ oligarchy and expected to work on behalf of Jamaicans, because it won't. Yeah, it won't work. And so we now have to rally together, right? We have to rally together and work together to build the UIC. I am being criticized for many things, but I'm not Superman. There's no way I'm going to be able to just get everything done. We're working with a lot of volunteers. Volunteers are sometimes not very reliable. Some are more reliable than others. Some volunteers quickly want money for everything, and we don't have it. And then you have those now who are disheartened because they hear lies which are spread, about me, doing all kind of stuff that I'm not doing. And so they use that to dissuade people, to turn people off. Once you create the cascas, and the fracas and the whole heap of mix up, and he say, she say, they know that this is going to turn people off. So they're going to try to use that to diminish us, to distract the people, and to cause Jamaicans to turn, back to what has failed them. Now, every Jamaican knows that the two major parties have been here for 78 years. And if over 78 years they can't fix the crime problem that they created, they can't fix the roads so that we have good roads throughout the entire country. They can't fix the economy so that our young people can easily find work when they finish school. They can't fix the education system so that majority of our students are doing well as opposed to only a few. They can't fix the police service, the police force. They can't make it into a service so that it really, respect and serve and protect the Jamaican people. They can't fix the healthcare system so that you feel, comfortable going to the hospital or the clinic, knowing that you're going to be cared for properly and be given good customer service. Everything they touch fails. Air Jamaica is gone. The airports are owned by other people. The hotels are owned by foreigners. Our hotels are importing food as opposed to using our local foods here in Jamaica. Our farmers are failing because they didn't get the support and the infrastructure that they need and the training that they needed to succeed. So, every industry, sugar, banana, coffee, cocoa, everything fail under these two political parties. So how can we continue to look to them for the solution? And so what they're trying to do, they're trying to lock off any competing idea. So they want to keep the UIC away from you. They want to lock off the UIC from you so that you're locked in to just their two alternatives, which is not an alternative. Voting for one or the other, you're still voting for the PSOJ oligarchy. So they're trying to lock Jamaica into this channel that will continue to make the Jamaican people poor, weak, and dependent. Yeah. And somebody says, sound like I'm talking with the mask on, and so I don't know what's going on. Um, so, so Douglas Allen says the PSO leadership jumped out recently and said people must not strike and that they must be patient and get back to work. Of course, that's what they want. They want the people to just be their servants. Yeah. Um, yeah. I see somebody writing here. Let me see what this is. Um, Lucky Lion. That is a funny statement. So the bottom line is, yes, Brother Keith Romans, we need to have more opportunities where, we get to talk to the people of Jamaica and share with them the OIC's ideas and what we have planned for Jamaica. We cannot continue to be hidden away from the Jamaican people. So we have to find new ways. We're on social media. We do the lives. I am not always very available because, as you know, I have my full-time business that I have to run. So I'm not a full-time politician. I don't have the luxury of being paid by taxpayers' money or being funded by the PSOJ to be able to be as available as I would like to be. So I'm hoping we'll get to a financial position soon that will afford me the privilege of being able to spend more time on the road, out in the communities, communicating with people, connecting with people, and sharing the message. So please help us by building our donation base and sharing the message with your friends and family as we go from there. So I have to get back to work now. I have now given 2 hours to this session. So take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to talk to you soon. All the best. Have a good one. Bye-bye.